Hi everybody, this is a little introduction to the Rose Night, which is now available. The spring equinox window of alchemical balance has opened, and so this book can now be sold and delivered to your doors, either as the Magdalene gift or just direct from the publisher. What I wanted to do is use this little video opportunity to actually share with you how this came into manifestation. And basically what I've done is I've read the Pistis Sophia, which is a very heavy book to get your head around. It is a little bit like reading the Bible. It's known as the Gnostic Bible. But for myself, when I read it, what I read, what I experienced, what I received was a archetypal story template that I realized at the time of reading, I am flippin' well living. So as I read about the descent of the Holy Sophia, and her coming to earth with a bit of a bump, and the meeting and the tormenting of the 7 archonic forces, and the creation of a seeming nemesis known as Samael, the realization of who and what Samael is, and I won't tell you because that will just ruin everything. It's something for you to discover, and it's in the Rose Night. I realized when reading this was wild. This was radical. The actual story behind the Pistis Sophia was radical and obviously current and continuously current. And so I asked my peers and my friends to read it because I was like on fire with this stuff. Most of them didn't even complete the Pistis Sophia. They just kind of read it and went, it's too heavy, dude. I can't read this. It's too complicated, it's too heady, it's too this, it's too that. And I was really frustrated because I thought that I had struck gold. It was like drilling for oil, and suddenly you got a big black fountain pumping out of your land. So I decided, okay, if you can't read it in this format, I will retell it. And I'm not saying I've got it right, because with Gnosticism, it's each to their own. So what I've done is I've retold the Pistis Sophia in my way, corresponding to this life, this current consciousness, this 2014 languaging, and I've written it in such a way that you can also step through the same gateway that was presented to me, and you can have a complete holy moment and go, whoa, I've lived this, or I'm living this. Because I found great comfort in reading the Pistis Sophia, especially coming from the beginnings of the Sophian journey. So, I mean, I've always been totally into the Christ force and Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And when I was going through my own dark night of the soul, that is when I had to reach for something more primordial. It was like Jesus and Mary just weren't doing it for me at that particular time. I needed to get into contact with the animating forces behind Jesus and Mary, behind the Christed story. I needed to get into the foundational stones, the dungeon of this alchemical couple, and I needed answers. I was desperate, and that is what I came across in my desperate state. I came across the Pistis Sophia, and I found the answers. Not only did I find the answers, I began to embody the answers. I began to embody the integrated answers. And of course I was crazed and wild by this revelation, and I wanted everyone else to get it as well. And so the Rose Night is a retelling of the Sophian story through my own perceptions and through my own way of living it. So everything in this Rose Night is kind of from my imagination, not. I have lived pretty much everything that's in these pages, and which is wonderful because I wouldn't be able to write it if I hadn't. And the people I've shared with it so far, they have all said the same thing. Oh my God, I've lived this. I know these characters. I know this situation. I know what it's like to be in exile. I know what it's like to descend. I know what it's like to dare not pray in case no one answers. So this is also another thing I have to say. This is not some sort of glamorous, fabulous, golden, spiritual, Celestine prophecy. This is a beautiful, beautiful splattering of light and dark energy in the full glory of the dance of these two principles. I would say this is the first book that I'm really quite happy to say, yeah, I wrote this. Yep, I did this one. It took me 2 years to write. I got halfway through after a year and it just stopped. I had my first writer's block, but now in hindsight I can see I was stopped because I hadn't lived the next part. I'd only lived the first part. I was still well and truly in the dark night of the soul, and nothing was going to come out that held any interest whatsoever. I had to come out. I had to come out of the tunnel to be able to look back and go, right, okay, so this is how it works. This is how it happens. So, my dearest friends, please do not expect something similar to womb wisdom or sacred sexual union, because it's not that. It's more of a Gnostic novel. If you enjoy my transmissions, this is a transmission on every page. I truly do feel that. And when I was writing it, oh, blimey, it was one big, long transmission. And to actually have Joe Jason's Magdalene on the front cover, well, it doesn't get any more perfect. This imagery of the Magdalene, Holy Sophia, overlights, ignites, animates Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene was another human carrier of the Holy Sophia energy. And this is it, you know, this is it. This is what she looks like. She's not a big raving goddess. She is a regular, beautiful, fleshy, embodied, bloodied, sweaty, gorgeous, organic human being. And Joe has been able to capture the reality of this embodiment path that we're on, that I'm on, and I keep raving about. And so I feel the partnering between myself and Joe is like bread and butter. Or maybe I should say something like maca and bee pollen for the Californians, for the healthy people. It's a perfect partnership. So the two, and within Joe's painting is of course a transmission. And so when you put the two together, well, hey, you're off. You're going to enter the Pistis Sophia in neo kaleidoscope, and hopefully you'll have a wonderful, wonderful experience. So if you look at the bottom of this video snippet, there'll be a little link on how you can order your own copy, get it delivered straight to your door. And I want to thank you now Thank you so much for reading this and opening yourself up for whatever is going to happen within those pages. Thank you all for the support that you have already extended towards me and what you may continue to extend towards me. I feel so blessed that I have the time and the resources to be able to write this material. Oh, and one other thing, this is just part one. So we're going to have the Logos' story, we're going to have the masculine story in part two, the continuation of the story, but now seeing it through the eyes of the masculine, the Logos, the Word of God. That'll be interesting, because I actually haven't lived that yet. So who knows what's ahead. And then finally, part 3 will be the Erios Gamos. It will be told through the unified state of the Sophia and the Logos. Have no idea what's going to be happening there. All I can say is this story is current. It includes the energies of Fukushima. It includes the burning forests. It includes the neglect of the human species and every other living creature living beside it and inside this earth. It's now, you know. That's what I'm trying to say. It's now. So enjoy, people. Enjoy every single nanosecond of the turning pages.